Okay, so yeah, you were saying? Server core we do not need. Do everyone has the last steps for the server core? It was in the video, right?
Yes.
Whoever saw the video? Everyone saw the video, right?
Yes.
You did not see. Okay. Why? You just broke my heart now. Like, you don't like videos, right? Huh? So please see the videos and follow that, and because that's the easiest way to do that. Okay, let's do some of the mucho serious ones. Already we are doing the infrastructure ones, and we need to repeat the machines. Yeah.
Yeah. What machine we need?
So this is what we have right now. Please start constructing your map with it. Even in the interviews, sometimes they say, hey, what kind of network you have configured before, or you know some of the networks, or just read this. He will give you some details. And can you construct this? Do you see a domain controller here? Do you see DNS DHCP role here? So always you should be good in mapping a network. Very good, very good. VMware, till now what you did, you should have a map of that. Cisco, what you did, how many switches you're configuring within that virtual software, you should have a map for that, right? So it goes for everything. Okay. Sorry?
We're still reading in the Cisco section.
Reading, but it's the concepts, right? Concepts do not have map. That's a good point for me. Oh, okay. So DC and DNS and DHCP. I think everyone has DHCP. Yeah, you're saying?
We have the notepad.cc, the Humber summary of the
For?
dates.
Oh yeah, I will do that too, definitely. So DC, DNS, DHCP. Which other role is there on domain controller? We have a Active Directory role installed which does the AAA. We have the DNS role installed which does the name resolution. We have the DHCP role installed which does the management, IP management. We have a GC role installed which does the what? Forest wide search, log on the users, right? So 4 roles are already there. Then we have the second one, which is the child domain, and which has all those roles as well. Third one is tree domain, and of course apart from DHCP, DNS and GC are both in child domain and tree domain. And then we have the fourth machine, which is server core, exactly. And server core was also turned into a replica DC, right? Everyone should have server core as a replica DC registered in your root DC. So your root DC, does your root DC show that your server core is actually a domain controller? And does your root DC in Active Directory and computers show in the domain controllers container the server core? If it does, it's a domain controller, right? Yeah. So you have shut it down, right? No, so server core, keep it shut down. Those who have not done, so guys, one thing, snapshots are compulsory for every lab. Whatever labs we did before, all those labs, so I'm making a list. I'm still making those and putting there: snapshot received, snapshot not received. So I need to have that snapshot for every lab from every one of you, right? This is for your good, right? What do I do with the snapshot, right? So second thing, exams. You again slowed down with the exams. There's no enthusiasm, I see. So is there any follow-up going on? Anyone planning the exams sooner? So I'll send an email where your names will be there and expected date to give the next exam and what is the next exam you're planning to do. This is to get you in your mind, you need to give the exam, right? So I'm just following up for your career enhancement, right? So I'm going to send that email, and please everyone reply to that I whatever time you give, it's up to you. But if you give time nearer to that, I'm gonna post that again next week. Okay, your time is coming. Did you even register the exam? Did you get the VCE files and started the preparation for the exam? So all this is required. Try to be MCSA before the end of this course. 3 exams: 7410, 411, 412. Try to be that. So last cohort there were
12, right? 10, 11.
yeah, 10 and ML 12. So people are passing and recruiters are requiring, are you MCSA or not? So this is, you're gonna I don't want you to have a rude shock in the market when you're looking for jobs and like, oh shoot, I'm supposed to be MCSA. Oh man, so many of the jobs from Microsoft side, what did you do? You're not certified in Microsoft? Okay, you don't want to listen to that again and again from every recruiter. Or maybe they don't even call at all. Hey, Microsoft requirement, Cisco, wow, good. VMware, good. Microsoft, no, nothing. Hey, we have Microsoft servers in our environment. Every company has it. Just like every company has VMware, Cisco, every company has Microsoft servers as well. So if you're not certified in Microsoft side as well as VMware side, you will be getting very less calls. So it's a ground reality I'm telling you now. That don't be in shock. So try to prepare now for your career. Linux is in all the big companies, they have Linux. And smaller companies are going for Linux actually because they want to pay the licenses for Microsoft. So medium companies also go for Linux. So Linux is a very crucial, so you can go for the Red Hat certification. Okay, let's go for today's labs. So first of all, we are going for RODC. This is the this is one of the domain controller configurations that was remaining. We had done replica DC, child DC, tree domain, child domain, tree domain. We haven't done forest trust, which is also the design level, and then we haven't done RODC, read only domain controller, which is also one of the design of the Active Directory in 2012. Mucho importante, 2 muchos, right? So okay, that way. So I'm gonna start this slide and
Did you start the video?
oh, I did say 3 to 1. Okay, cool, thanks. But that's good to remind. It's always good to remind that because it happened very rare times that we thought that video started and after near the end of the class, hey, video's running, right? And like, yeah, sure. And like, whoa, video's not running all this time. So then I had to, redo the whole thing at home. That was not good. Okay, so we will go to the notepad.cc and I owe you a lot of slides now. Although notepad.cc and the videos give you the complete thing, but without slides, definitely it's not complete in a academic session. Let me start from today and right now. So I'm recording it now. I'll just email you in the group now and open these slides and go for you guys are cohort 6, okay, and day 06. Hey, I did give the last class slide, right? No. Oh, nobody said. So I'm going to collect this. There are. So let's start this. Guys, first of all, if you're doing RODC, do we have a separate machine available? No. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the child domain now, or tree. Let's go for tree domain. So how do we remove that? Let me just send you the slide, and the other one is the WDS is a little tough. WSUS would be easier. Okay, so WDS and Hyper-V is coming next. Okay. Hey, I just attached it, right? Where's it? I minimized it.
No. Same way to my side.
Did you get it?
Down. The bottom.
Oh man! See, I was testing you this. So, do you know that? No, I'm just kidding. Once you're in front of 400 people, minus whatever your actual is, so then you get confused a little sometime. Forget that. Okay, send. Did you receive that? Hey, stop reading my emails. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. Lesson summary. No, that's not it. Okay, 2 slides. Start the RODC. RODC, we did talk about it, but when we go to the details, it's a totally different planet. So RODC, any one-liner for RODC, which means what?
There is no right permissions. I mean,
Yeah.
there, if we want to create a new user or like anything, new object on that, we cannot create on the RODC. It will only
Okay.
It's read only.
It is a replica of the domain controller, but no objects can be created on the RODC.
Okay. So no objects can be created. There's one thing. It's read only. You cannot make changes. What is the second crucial thing about RODC?
Doesn't have a database.
Cannot authenticate. Third thing, unless we add passwords to that. Yeah. Doesn't have a database.
Not all of it, just
Portion of it. Kinda okay. What's the fourth interesting thing? The main thing, main. Why RODC is even created?
It's just the other side of the.
No, then we can have replica, read and write DC as well, right? But RODC, yeah. So we need for security RODC. But what is okay? Now I'm gonna give you a clue.
One C.
No, not kind of that. I'm gonna give you a clue now. Otherwise, somebody should talk now.
There's no cache.
Who's WhatsApping? Okay, yeah. There's no yes. Cache of what? Cache passwords are not saved locally. So one thing, RODC. What is RODC? Sir, passwords is not are not saved locally. In an interview, you would throw that thing first, and so because passwords are not saved locally, that RODC cannot authenticate. Exactly. We're going to give certain users the permission to be authenticated locally, but why is that? So we're going to talk about all that. Just remember to construct your lab as well, but first we are doing something quickly as an administrator. So I'm just going to go in. Everyone is logged into the domain controller.
Yes.
During this, we're going to also talk about RODC. Yeah. This is the domain controller, the root DC, the first one. Yeah.
Do we need to clone another server for all these?
I just want to avoid that because
Do we got to join that because we don't have SSD?
oh, you don't want no. So we're going to use an existing server, which is
Child.
tree domain. Child actually we may need in another lab. So tree domain is we don't need that because we have already child domain. Tree domain is just another form.
We don't want to do the cross between the tree.
Tree child domain to tree child domain. If we want to do that, that's a extra lab. Good luck doing that at home. But yeah, so we need to configure the basics technology, but advanced there are so many scenarios. Start working on that. And if you're stuck somewhere, let me know as well. In fact, if you have some screenshots of that and I'm stuck here and I'm trying a little different scenario, so I'll help you out with that. And so 2 things, guys. Again, I'm repeating again and again. The snapshots of every screenshots, not snapshot. Screenshots of every lab is compulsory. Second thing, if you're stuck, if you see an error, you need to take a screenshot of that and send me or send to the group, the whole group. because others are supposed to help you as well. So you see an error and maybe you could not troubleshoot that. Take a screenshot, send it to the group name, just whatever I've sent, reply to that and change your subject. I am getting this error, anyone else got that? So don't be shy about asking help from others, you know. So any one of us can help, or I will just jump in and help as well. So yeah. Oh, okay. Snapshot here is that if I right click any machine, any one machine, for that particular machine I can take a snapshot. So here I have taken one snapshot, which means that at that particular time, whatever I have set up, I am saving that setting. So later if I have misconfigured something or I want that setup back, I'll just go back to that setup. So what snapshot I've taken? If I go to snapshot manager here, this snapshot 1 I've taken, and I've mentioned in the description Active Directory installed and activated. So the machine, now if I want to return to this, I will only click go to, and it will return to when it was just Active Directory installed. There was no DHCP, there was no tree domain, there was no child domain, and it is activated. The most interested I would be, is the machine activated or not? The free activation, right? So snapshots always take after successful configuration of any of the lab. Take a snapshot of that, right? But it's going to take your space. So see the space. After 5 or 6 snapshots, your machine would have grown to 60 GB or 80 GB. So if you want to save space, you can go to the snapshot manager again and delete whichever snapshot you may not require. So if this machine has grown and I have 6 or 7 snapshot, I would go for any last snapshot or middle snapshot to claim back some space, right? So the more snapshot you take, the more space it will take. Okay, let's start with our Active Directory. Everyone is on the first or the root DC. If we go to the tools and Active Directory user and computers here on the first domain controller, and if I open the domain controllers, so do we see how many domain controllers are you seeing there? 2 only, right? Server core and server 1. Why not server 2 and why not server 3? So I'm gonna go to server 2, Mississauga, login. Where can we see the second server? If I go to server manager again on the first server and go to the sites and services, on server 1, I've gone to tools and gone to sites and services, and whenever it opens, I'll click it open. If it opens today, hello, testing 1 2 3. Oh, there you are. Okay, so Mississauga, when I expand the Mississauga servers and when I expand the, if I have transferred that, otherwise now I'm seeing 4 servers. Everyone on this screen? So in the parent domain, we have 2 domain controllers. In the child domain, we have 1 domain controller. In the tree domain, we have 1 domain controller. So the parent domain does not have the Active Directory users and computers does not have the record of the child domain and the tree domain, but sites and services has the record of the child domain controller, which is server 3. Server 2 is the child domain controller or server 3? And tree domain is server core, right? Okay, that was very obvious. Server 3 is the tree domain. Everyone has server 3 started, so let's try to, it's the cars.domain, but it is cars.local, right? Oh, you have BMW. Okay, anyone has Toyota or Dodge? Oh, okay. Hey, what's the, did I put the separate password for that? Okay, good. So everyone logged into server 3. Yes. Okay, thank you for that reply. This is the tree domain, and we're going to uninstall that. We're going to remove the tree domain now, and then we're going to install RODC on that. So the IP address is the same, the name is the same, firewall is off, we don't have to do all this in cloning, and we get to know how to uninstall domain controller again. Yay! So everyone on server 3, yes? Okay, so yeah, notepad.cc, here I come. Oh, that's not it. So last time what we did, hey, number 4, I'll just quickly update the last time thing. And that's, does it support tab? Oh, it does, cool. Okay, so last time we did server core and what? Last lab. We did 2 things, right? Tree domain and server core. Okay, so tree domain and server core was done, and then we had all the steps in the video. Number 5, I'll update the steps here. Okay, number 5 is, now we're going to do RODC and WSUS. So for that, to do these labs, we're going to start and log into server 03. Oh guys, now I'm putting the steps here. Second is then uninstall AD from server 03.
So like I don't have server 03, can I use server 03?
Yes, child domain, then you have to create it again when I'll let you know beforehand that do we need child domain or not. Right now, yes, go ahead with the, do you have an extra server
I have that core server.
which is in GUI mode? Okay, good, stay there. Uninstall Active Directory from there only. Server core. If you have installed Active Directory, did you install Active Directory? If not, then just stay there. If you have Active Directory,
No, I don't.
okay, good. So it's a member server, server core, which is GUI, which is in GUI mode and a member server joined to the domain, right? Make sure, yeah, make sure it is member server joined to the domain. That's all we need right now. Yeah, you were saying? Where? Number 3?
Yeah, it's child domain.
Number
Number 3.
3 is tree domain.
Child domain.
Oh yeah, child domain. Exactly. From server. Okay. And the child domain also you made.
This server 2.
No, there's a spell mistake. Okay. Oh, thanks.
No, that child domain is server 2.
So I
This one, right?
Yeah, this server 2. Name it server 2.
Oh, guys,
No, I mean after that.
we did the tree domain
No.
on server 3. This one, right? So let's. But previous one is okay. Previous, yeah.
Oh, no, this is weak numbers. Oh, it's
Which one?
This 1, 2, 3, 4 means weak number or the server number?
No, just the lab. It has nothing to do with weeks.
No,
Yeah.
the 3, 4, 5. What are those? Weak numbers?
Weak numbers? No, it's just random numbers to steps,
Oh.
just for the steps. Yeah. Yeah, you were saying? Server 3. But after uninstalling tree domain, you want to install child domain on server 3? Oh, you already have child domain in server 3. If we uninstall, it's gonna be removed and it's gonna be not showing in sites and services. That's it, nothing else. Any users inside will be removed. Domain controller will not be showing that. Yeah, that's it. It's not gonna show in sites and services. Okay, guys. So uninstall AD from server 03, and then make sure it is a member server showing in parent domain domain in the computers container. So make sure it is showing in the computers container, right? Okay. And number 4, then install RODC on it and configure it. So that's the major steps of RODC lab, but we're using the existing machine. We're going to uninstall. So I'm going to start uninstalling from server 3 the tree domain. But what we want, if you already have a member server joined to the parent domain, that's exactly where we are reaching. If you already have that, it's okay. You don't have to follow this. If you don't have that, then follow and let's remove tree domain. So I'm going to go to the server 03 and going to uninstall this tree domain. Then we're going to start discussing about RODC as well, but we need to create some machine for that, and it will be a good practice. So what do I do first? So ADDS, right click. Now we can go to manage, remove roles and features, right? Okay, we are removing Active Directory from tree domain controller, which is server 3. So remove roles and features, click, everyone there, next, 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 no, not next. Go to roles and uncheck Active Directory, right? When you uncheck Active Directory, it says remove features as well. Yes, click remove features as well. And then this comes, which says, hey, you need to first demote domain controller and then remove features. So okay, which is okay. Do not press OK here. It's just okay that the error is coming, but do not press OK. Okay, that was just fun. Oh, okay, so demote this domain controller. Click that link, and now the proper uninstallation starts, which is the demotion of domain controller. We demote that, right? Okay, so
Can you repeat, please?
yeah. Oh, it went fast? Let me know if I'm going fast. You know what I will do? You know that. Go faster. Oh, okay. So, so cancel out. Yes. And okay, where are you? Oh, you got 911 help. Okay, he's helping you, right? Hey, he's telling you, right? Okay. Okay, so I can just quickly go while you get help. No, okay. So no, I'm always let me know where you are. So which step are you on? Remove, manual. So manage. You did this already. Okay, remove roles. Already did that. Okay, and then where did you go from here? Next, next, next. Oh, not next. Are you on the roles screen? Rolls Royce. Roles. Okay, uncheck. Just click the Active Directory domain. Right. When you click it, the remove features pops up like this. So click that. When you see remove features, click remove features as well, right? But go slow here. Okay, it's gonna wait for this window, wait for this error, and wait for this error. And okay, one day it will come. I'm sure today it will come. Like, oh, it's there. Cool. Okay, so demote this. Yeah. Oh, thank God. You just gave me a heart attack here. Like I was doing, at once I thought, am I doing it on server 2 or 1? Okay, don't do that. Okay, just kidding. Yeah. So, but I was scared, like, oh man, wrong server. So yeah, this is a nightmare of a system admin when you do something removing on a wrong server. That's like the last day of your job or company. You could just, snapshot is good for using in labs, but when it's actual environment, so every server is connected to any other server, or at given time maybe hundreds of or thousands of users are connected to that server. So yes, you have to go through the procedure of informing the user we are about to shut you down or we are to cut your connection. Then your director, your manager, everyone is asking you. So it's like, if you've done that, yes, maybe there's a solution, but you have to go through the hell to use that feature. Here we're like snapshot again, snapshot again, snapshot again. Yeah, no problem. So okay, demote this domain controller, and anyone getting error here?
No.
Okay, you get an error or you don't? Same screen. Okay, good. Yeah. So okay, is this the last domain controller in the domain? Good. There's a confidence here. That's a confidence. That's a very good thing, actually.
And it is wrong.
I love this situation where there's a mystery. Is he about to say I'm wrong? Am I wrong? No, maybe I know I'm right. It's like, come on, solve this. Okay. So in this tree domain, this is the last domain controller of this tree domain. It did not ask is this the last domain controller of this forest, right? It just asked this domain. Okay. Last. Yes, this is the last one. Next. What does it say?
What's the first one?
Force removal. We do it when the normal way of demoting or removing a domain controller fails. This is the last resort. Force removal is like you take the physical server and throw it away. But we have to demote it properly. So when proper way doesn't work, this is the proper way we are doing without keep the force option unchecked. So next finish should just automatically does that. If that does not happen, this is a bad thing. This means your domain controllers are not talking to each other, to the forest domain controller and everything.
If you are doing using PowerShell, I saw
There are options for that.
They use the force switch.
It's not recommended. It's not best practice, but go ahead, use it. It's not going to disrupt any other thing, but let's not use it because the metadata, the information of server 3, wherever it was supposed to be removed from, we have to do it manually then. Then you have to run the script for removing its information from all the other areas. So proper demotion, it removes that information from every area of the forest and sites and services, right? Yep. Because it detected that in this domain there is only one machine, so it's asking, hey, isn't actually it knows that, but it's making sure from us as well, because it also has to do its job, right? It's receiving salary. No, just kidding. So yeah, but it's just confirming that. So last domain controller, yes. Next, so it says what now? The domain controller currently hosts the following roles: DNS and global catalog. The roles hosted by the DC are required for ADDS functionality. We are removing the ADDS now, so we don't need that functionality, right? So it will be impacted. These services will be impacted. We say, yeah, whatever. So proceed with removal. There's only one option. If you don't click that, we don't go ahead at all. So it's just saying, hey, you're going to disrupt these services. Are you sure? We say, yes, we are sure. And next. And then it says, remove this DNS zone. This is the last DNS server that hosts this zone. Which zone? Remove this zone. Forward zone, yeah. For primary zone, yes. Which zone? Our domain name. The DNS creates a zone for that domain name. So when that domain has first server, second server, third server, first client, second client, third client, onwards, hundreds of clients, so they are all created for that domain under that zone name. So the zone name is created according to the domain name. We have a mydomain.local. A zone is created for mydomain.local in DNS. And then we have cars.local now. A zone has been created for that. So where is that zone? If I go to my domain controller right now, if I go to my DNS here, and if I go to right click and DNS manager, it comes from tools as well. So this always we see whenever we open DNS, always we see our domain name here as well. If we go down, go to forward lookup zone, we see this mydomain.local. This is the zone created for our domain, and all the A records and servers and machines are for this domain are showing here in this zone. So this zone is for mydomain.local. That guy is asking, hey, do you want to remove the cars.bmw zone? And we are saying yes, we are removing everything. Well, yeah, remove that too. Yeah, you were saying? For this, for previous, this one you have 3 options.
No, on next.
Next, okay. Next, this you have 3 options. 2, you have 2 options. 3, okay, 3. Anyone 4? 3 1, 3 2 is yours. Whatever we are selling here, yeah. So
Remove the next delegation.
delegation, which is okay. Does those all options say remove?
Yeah. Yeah, all remove.
Otherwise, it won't let you go. Okay, click both and good luck. I mean, click all 3 wherever there are 3, wherever there are 2. So it's just detecting more configurations inside DNS. Maybe you clicked some option and it's asking now, hey, do you want to remove that service as well? Basically, we want to remove the whole DNS and anything related to that DNS. It should have come to me as well because we have the same configuration, but sometimes it shows different for reasons. Maybe you have clicked something new, right? So if you have anyone has one option like this. Okay, majority of, okay, so next, so yes, we want to remove whatever options it is asking us to remove.
Why I have one more? Remove application part.
Okay, that's also, so Active Directory is divided into partitions, and we're going to discuss that in FISMO role when we're talking about that. But Active Directory has partitions, and there is application partition. One of those partitions is application partition, which means just that any application that is integrated with Active Directory creates actually a partition inside Active Directory, which means Active Directory it will use services of Active Directory because it is integrated. So when we say integrated DNS role, Active Directory integrated DNS, it's actually has created a partition inside Active Directory, so they will work together from now on. Exchange, when you install, it also creates partition in Active Directory, yes or no?
Is cast.dm
It makes changes in the schema. Yeah, let's see.
where do we see in the DNS manager cast.dm? Anything related to this?
Anything related to that.
Do we see
It will remove that when we restart. We will check that it will not be there.
But right now, what are they related to?
What is there? So it's the DNS information. This is the last DNS server that hosts the zone. So the main zone is being removed. That's all.
No, I mean, do we see anything like physical? I mean, on
Oh.
DNS manager?
If I open the DNS, it will show me the zone. So if I open the DNS tools, I'm on server 3 right now. I am trying to see the DNS information of server 3. If it has not been removed, it will look like this. So it's asking, do I remove this or not? And we are saying yes, remove this. We don't, this is, what is this? The zone for that domain. So we're removing the Active Directory. So we're removing everything. So yes, remove from DNS all the records of this domain as well, which is zone. Zone is the records of all related to all this for this domain, right? So I'm gonna go back. Okay, next, the password. When you restart, having Active Directory totally removed, this is the password you're gonna put. But let's just make sure after we restart that is it still part of the domain or not. So we're gonna go to the first domain controller. We're gonna check the computers container inside Active Directory, users and computers, and is it part of the forest or the first parent domain as a member server? Is it part of the, so demote, put the password and click demote. So when it restarts, we are ready to install RODC and we're ready to talk about RODC. While I leave it to restart, I'm just going to start that RODC slide. There are some important points to discuss about RODC. Yeah. Oh, there's an error. Anyone got the error? Then maybe I should get the error too. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a support. You feel so good. Hey, there's an error. Yes, good. although we are supposed to be like, huh, there's an error. No, there's an error.
Then can we go for force simulation?
4.
Force, yeah.
Yay, now we all get the error. So let's troubleshoot that. Let's shoot that trouble, right? This is a trouble. So what does it say? Active Directory domain services could not transfer the remaining data in Active Directory partition to Active Directory domain controller server 1. The DSA operation is unable to proceed because of a DNS lookup failure. So we have a DNS lookup failure. It cannot find the Active Directory. Is there any suggestion to, so we need to tell this, we need to show this tree domain, where is our parent domain or who is our parent domain? How do we tell this in a DNS way? We need to do some TLS related change. Well, host file is the last resort, but if I keep this window here, it's not searching for the Active Directory, right? So if I go to the network settings here, network settings and network card on server 03 and properties, and then v4 setting, it has, so first domain pointing to itself and the second domain, alternate domain. Everyone has this network setting? Yes, no? So open your network card setting. Do you have this network setting 0.1, while the first should be itself, right? So it is, even if I put there 192.168, oh, 216, 192.168.0.3 is the local IP, but it's not seeing the domain controller and it cannot contact that. One thing I want to make sure that this IP configuration is like that. I'm not making any changes here. Alternate IP should be the IP of the parent DNS. Sorry, it is added, right? So everyone has this, right? Okay, second thing, why is the tree domain controller not contacting the first domain controller? I would check the firewall as well on both servers if the firewall somehow got, but everyone's firewall should not be open, right? So I'm just gonna go and check for the, oh, okay, my domain controller, in my case the firewall is on my root domain controller or my domain.local domain controller, right? So I'm just gonna turn off that just to make sure that nothing is stopping the information from flowing between the domain controllers. In my case, oh, this is the server 3 actually firewall. So I'm just gonna go to server 1 firewall as well and check. It should be off anyway, but server 3 firewall was on and server 1 firewall is off. So okay, let's not check that. And third thing, I'm going to put the command prompt there and try to ping by name my server 1, server 01, and it is pinging perfectly. Then I'll put the NS lookup, which should give me the local host actually, because the preferred DNS is the local host, right? Okay, so I just turned off the firewall only for this guy, for the server 03, but although it should let the information go ahead even if it is turned on, oh, I have to close it. So DNS lookup failure proceed because the DSA operation is unable to proceed because of a DNS lookup failure. That's not, sorry, from the source. Yeah, I have to close it because there is no other option than restart. Okay, I'm gonna start that again. Manage. Oh, one more thing, ipconfig flush DNS and register DNS. ipconfig flush DNS and register DNS. Number 1, I'm going to the server 1 as well and going for ipconfig flush DNS and ipconfig register DNS. Oh, it requires elevations. I'm just gonna open the run as administrator on the first domain controller for ipconfig register DNS, and I'll try to start again. If the problem comes again, we need not waste our time, then we can go for plan B. So guys, plan B also start. While we're troubleshooting this, can you start the clone as well? So I'm just gonna start that again, manage. Oh, did I take a snapshot? That should have been plan C actually. Oh, I did not. Cool. Okay, anyway, remove roles and features. Next, Active Directory, remove, demote this domain controller. So yeah, if it is not removing normally, we still have the force remove option, right? So we keep in mind that, oh, maybe we now have to use that. Okay, before that, I'm going to my first domain controller again just to check my DNS settings if there is something wrong with my IP addressing here. And do I have 2 network cards on my domain controller? Anyone has 2 network cards on a domain controller? So if I go to my domain controller, I have just 1 network card. And if I go to advanced, just for some troubleshooting here, Ethernet 0 is just showing there as a top adapter. Okay, that's good. Do I have 2 network cards here in second one? So if I go there, maybe for internet I added, no, both have 1 network card. Okay, everything seems correct.
But I have willingness to promote it, so that means it is being on behalf of.
That's good. Let's just check that. So sorry, preferred DNS. Preferred DNS, first one you changed to 0.3. Yeah, we did that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to do the last domain controller in the domain again. If that does not work, then I will go for force removal. So hey, congratulations, we get to use the force removal as well. Woohoo! Anyway, okay, that was not fun. Next, so let me just check if I'm missing any option. So supply the credentials to perform this operation, force the removal of this, and this is click change here. Okay, yeah, anyway, so next, proceed with removal. Pretty straightforward. Now I need to keep an eye on okay, if that does not happen successfully, if that does not work successfully, then remove active directory last when the process is complete, this domain no longer exists. Demote. Yeah, I think it's gonna same.
On the network character,
Let's force them. Huh?
on the network character, there is a check button upon exit, validate upon exit.
Oh
The network setting.
no, that's just checking its own network settings. Is it logically sent?
It is checking the DNS, but it gives an error.
It gives an error about the DNS lookup.
It doesn't say exactly the reason, so that means it cannot resolve it. No?
Well, if I go to NS lookup, it's just giving me the local server, which is okay.
But I can give the address lookup and the server side.
Yeah, you should be able to. Yeah, if they have talked, because we started the machine now, so it did not talk much. They are still in contact, and we shut down that day after creating it. Domain controllers are not supposed to be shut down. They are supposed to be talking to each other, right? So yay, so the error comes again, and show more error when demoting the domain controller. So
But why it worked for me?
no, maybe it just worked, and if we restart, it's not gonna show anything. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, I'll just take a screenshot of that. And no, did it work for you? Did you restart? Can you restart and check, Sumit? Because you're saying that it's not showing me promote here, so
It says promote.
you did not get the error at all? What changes did you make? You had a firewall? Okay. Which firewall? Server 3 firewall or server 1? Okay, you. Okay. Anyone else who removed the firewall and tried that again? Any luck?
I removed that.
Wait, no.
It's working the first time. That's not fair. I mean, that's good actually. So it worked for 2 people, 3 people now. Did it work the same thing on with anyone else? Yeah, proceed. Yeah, and I made sure that yeah, our network card is also. Hey guys, so do you see this? Everyone, do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
We are successful.
Promote. If you see that promote domain controller, it did give us an error. It was supposed to restart automatically, it did not, but it still did remove the Active Directory. But we're going to discover if it does not give us more errors when we start the RODC on this already not normally working domain controller. So if you see this already promote, this means Active Directory is installed, uninstalled. Let's just restart this and check again. I would go for restart, login and check if it's a member server or not. Second thing, I will check the event viewer for that. But instead of troubleshooting, because we need to do some 2 labs, I'm gonna go quickly and try to install RODC. But this should be troubleshooted and there should be one document how did we resolve it. So this was error and that's what we did and how we resolved it, right? So right now I see that okay, Active Directory is not here, but it did not restart. It has to restart because it's a major change. So, and there's a very funny joke somewhere there. So hey, only you guys are laughing. That's not fair.
My DC went, I didn't know.
Huh?
I did DC one.
So I had that near shock, like, oh no,
Be successful.
that's why it was. Did I do it? Okay, Helena, which DC did you remove? You sure? Okay, good. So that was the correct server and it was removed correctly, right? The first attempt you did and it was removed, right? The server 3. So okay, I'm just restarting it and making sure that in my root DC, in the Active Directory using computers, in the computers container, this machine should pop up, because now it's supposed to be a member server and it's supposed to be part of the parent domain, mydomain.local. It should no longer be the cars.bmw domain controller, root domain controller for the tree domain, cars.bmw. Now it should be just a server 3 as a member server of my root domain, mydomain.local. So I'm just gonna check if that's the case, and then we start with RODC. First one. Cars? Force removal would be the but you saw that triangle? Okay, because it's not normal uninstall, so yeah, it's gonna try to try to log in from local administrator. Guys, did you restart? Restarting, right? Okay, same thing as happening here.
Yes.
Exactly same.
Yeah.
The triangle showed.
Yeah, but that give me the error.
Okay, in the triangle as well. No, like restarting as well.
Yeah, no, the error. I mean, there is error.
Oh yeah, we're all getting that.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, so after restart, does it show like this for everyone? Cars.administrator? Everyone is showing like that, right? So if I try to log in from again cars administrator, if I don't change anything, I want to know what's the status. It's loading and it says promote this server to our domain controller. So second thing, I'm going to tools and I'm going to Active Directories and computers. Maybe it's just a machine name. Oh, there is still cars.domain showing here. Third thing, if I want to have further proof that cars.bmw is still there or not, I'll go to the first domain controller, parent domain controller, and I will go to the Active Directory sites and services. I will refresh the sites here, and I will go to the Toronto site. Was it showing server 3 there? Server 3 is still a domain controller. Okay, so guys, everyone, force removal, let's test that now. Our last resort. Yeah, okay, so first one is gone. I mean, what can I suggest now? So try to recreate the domain again now, the forest, full forest again. Guys, what we're doing is, while this option misleadingly says that it's going to be promote this to a domain controller, this is kind of misleading now. So let's go for manage and remove roles and check if the same wizard starts or not, right? So everyone restarted? Okay, I'm just going back to the same remove roles and features, and let's see what it has. It should not. Okay, Active Directory is still there.
Mine is removed.
Okay, that's good news for you, but not for me. Okay, remove features, same thing. It should pop up with that same error. I think majority of us is going through this. When I go for demote this domain controller now, third time, I'll just go for the force removal. And so yeah, this is the last resort. Now we are at the last resort. So
Refresh, just refresh now.
after some time it pops up again. Cool. Anyone was doing plan B, or just like me, we're still busy on this? Plan B was make another clone and make it, the next sequential IPN name. Nobody was doing plan B. Okay, anyway, so let's force remove that. We get to troubleshoot a lot here, and main thing is troubleshooting here. Okay, after learning the basic thing. So if we have to troubleshoot, we cannot just run away, right? We need to find out what's going on, or at least try to resolve with available options. So I'm just trying all the options just to go step by step. If I was in my office, I would, after all the approvals and getting a lot of nice words from my manager and directors, I would just still go for this recovery kind of thing, right? Nice words is the opposite of that. Yeah, it's not exactly nice words. But whenever something, happens like that, force the removal of this domain controller. Unless this is the last domain controller in the domain, you must perform metadata cleanup manually after removal. Yeah, I'm going to perform the metadata. What is that? Your information for the domain, your information for cars.bmw will be in the forest in different places. So that metadata, if it had removed normally, that metadata would have gone as well from places like sites and services. It would have gone automatically. Now we have to go there and right click and delete manually everything.
For today, that do we need a server to be powered on?
Server 02. If you have member server, then wait for us to reach there. But we don't need server 2. Okay, I'm doing the force removal next. Please work. Okay, so it's going to, the domain controller currently hosts the following roles. Okay, we have a test here. Yeehaw. Oh, okay. So today, Sumit, did you also remove server 1? Today is the crash day. So we are all crashing, and especially this line is affected most. So
I changed the line.
that's good. So try to have your chairs migrated to, anywhere here. So it's peaceful line. All other lines are peaceful. So next, proceed with the removal. Next, password is, guys, that's also good. It was not in my plan to use the force removal, but it's good that we are doing it properly. Like next, I hope it works actually. Remove Active Directory services for this computer without updating forest metadata. The main thing to understand here it's not going to update the forest metadata, which means the forest will not know it is gone. We have to manually go to those places and remove the information for cars.bmw manually one by one. I had to do that once in my production environment. It happens. It's good that we are doing it here in the lab. Otherwise, it was not the plan to do that. But we are stuck with that and we're not running away from this. So let's just go ahead with the available options so we get to learn something. In Active Directory sites and services and Active Directory domains and trusts, both have the information about this domain. Yeah, exactly. And in DNS, there will be information which I'm going to show you now. Go every place and manually remove that if we are using force removal. If the normal procedure had one right click and restart automatically, it would remove everything automatically. No, it does not affect any of the other servers. If there were any applications which were connecting to this server 3, after force removal, we have to manually put that application or configure that application to use the other domain controller. If it had normally done that, the application would have been automatically redirected to the other domain controller. Exactly. So we have to document who is connecting to this server. So because we are about to do this, so who is authenticating to this? We have to redirect all the traffic before. Okay. Is it restarting for everyone? Yep. PowerShell commands, yeah, we can just I'll go to TechNet and we can do that. Now it's not possible, but definitely we should do that too. Right.
In a real life scenario, how will you handle if you have an issue trying to face this issue where you have to force it?
That's the only other way I have to do. I would keep it like that. I would go for event logs. I would try to go to all the forums. I will engage Microsoft directly and maybe we get a solution, but that takes like days, even sometimes days, and if we can afford to have a lot of time, then even weeks. Microsoft says, okay, send me all the data, send me all the logs, and I'll try to tell you by next 2 or 3 days or 4 days. So sometimes that problem drags. If we don't have time, we don't have at all any time, so we go for what we did just now, force removal. And still we will be engaging going to the Google forums, TechNet forums, and engaging all the other administrators who may have done that, or Microsoft direct support. So Google Sensei, first Sensei is Google, our teacher, and then if Microsoft, you have that, your company has that expensive contract with Microsoft, you call directly to them.
Because I tried to do that in my lab, and I tried to forward and unfortunately the second domain control, and for some reason I got stuck. The PC1 could not see the other server as a domain, even when I tried to
Oh.
break it back out.
That's, if force doesn't work, then good luck. So then you're on your own.
Bring up a new one.
Yeah, in production environment, this is bad. But still, we have there's always a solution if you give time. Guys, everyone on this screen? Everyone on this screen? You're also on this screen. Oh, okay. So everyone on this, if not, what does this mean? We are joined to the domain, yes? Yeah, so we are totally out of the domain now. We have to join again and become a member server. If our domain was showing, yes, we would have logged in directly, but no, we are just logged in. So I'm just going to log in locally with the password I gave at that time. Yeah. The sites and services and check what? Table. If we have an Excel sheet, you're talking about that, or which table you're talking about? Oh, okay, the root print. Okay, so we would try to see that if you know, if it was one of the if its IP was being used to route something to the other machines or to the other network, it was part of some, you know, application connecting to this, then we should be seeing that. But here, you know, it's just a
Server 3 was our printer server.
if it was printer server, okay. Yeah. So yes, in that case, yes, but in our case, we don't have to. Right. But definitely, yeah, this point is also okay. Okay, guys, is it, if you go to local server, is it showing work group for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is Active Directory showing now?
No, so every server, because it only shows when you have the binary files of ADDS here. The basic files of ADDS are there. It will always show up. If you remove those files, then it will never show up. Yep.
Now, we become a work group now, right?
Yep.
If we go to the tools and we see, we found there is trust and service, and we
Yeah, right click delete, right click delete. So what he's saying is, that's a good point. So if I go to the first domain controller now, where is that information for that server 3 domain controller, right? So if I go to the sites and services, if I refresh, I'm already there on the first domain controller, refresh that, and if I go to Toronto servers, where server 3, it's still showing while I have effectively removed it, right? This means this is the metadata or the information about that server that I need to. So if I right click that server 3 information from sites and services, I click delete here, I have to delete this information, right? So this is server 3 just for on sites and services. Another area, so does it get deleted like this? Does anyone get, when you try to delete, you get this error or not? Do not delete server 3 container objects. Server 3 contains objects representing domain controller, blah blah blah. To delete these objects, demote the DCs using, yeah, we tried to demote, but it didn't work, right? So now it's saying, hey, if the DC represented by these objects are permanently offline and can no longer be demoted, you must delete them one at a time. So no longer be demoted using the Active Directory Domain Services installation wizard DC promo, you must delete them one at a time. So you cannot even open. No, are you on first domain controller root DC? Yeah, I'm the first one. You have the same message, right? Okay. Guys, the only safe side, yeah.
There was a radio button. You should check that before you click the yes. You should check that.
Hitting which yes?
Use delete some server control.
Use delete one by one, right?
No. While we deleting the Windows server.
Server 03, right?
Server 03.
Yeah.
Before hitting the yes, there is a checkbox button. Says that use delete sub-free server control.
Use.
Use delete sub-free server control.
So which means what?
I'm asking that.
Yeah. So let me just go back there, right click and delete. So it says here, if you can cancel the running deletion, the objects deleted thus far will not be recovered. Warning, if the select use delete subtree server control checkbox, all objects within the tree subtree, including all delete protected objects, will be deleted. Yeah, I know that. So use delete, yes, you're saying that if we check that. Yeah, did you check that? And press yes, it does. You must delete them one by one. Okay, this now deleting the metadata is not an easy task. We go one by one. But now we have to change one small thing here. Can anyone tell me? I want to go to the RODC lab now. What do we need to do? Yes. Let's just rename the server and put the next IP, restart it, join it to domain, and our RODC is ready. Cool. But now we know what? Metadata. If you ever get to the situation of force removal, we really need to then go for the forums. We need to go for the TechNet articles, how to remove metadata of a domain controller which has been force removed. We can create always a new machine, but trying to find out how to properly do that is the main thing we should be doing, right? from the PowerShell command, yes, if you Google that like this, you can get that. So it will there are PowerShell commands that going to help remove the metadata as well if we modify it correctly. If it removes something else, I mean, we're gonna be in bigger trouble then.
Maybe there's a tool for it.
Yeah, there are many tools actually. Utilities, PowerShell commands, Visual Basic commands. Right now we need to save time. I will keep this here because there is no other option, right? I cannot delete it. So let's we are in server 3. I'm going to change it and name it. Do we have a server 4 already? No.
We can change the name when
Yeah. No, metadata is, if it cannot delete, still the GUID is the same, right? So this internal information, the SID is the same. So it's better to change server 4 and join it as a new server. So this will be like we have created the clone, but in the way we also learned the force removal and what are the repercussions if we do use the force removal option. So I would just go to server 03. I will go for local server. I will change name and IP, both things. So server 03, change here, and instead of 3 I'll just put it 4. So all this troubleshooting also got recorded, which is just an extra knowledge that if we run into trouble, what are our options anyway. I'll just go to the IP address as well. So server 3 is now changed to server 4. The IP address of server 3 should be statically changed to 4. I hope we don't have a machine who has a static IP of 4. I've changed the IP to 4 and the name is already changed and is waiting to be restarted. So close and restart now. Name and IP change. As soon as it is restarted, I'll just join it to the domain. Preferred DNS is already 1. Oh, I should check that. You're right. If it's pointing to itself, I should change the preferred DNS as well. Yeah, you were saying?
The number I
192.168.0.1 for the preferred DNS. Yeah, exactly. Right. Good point. Sorry?
preferred DNS 1.
Yeah, 0.1.
The second
We don't need that. 03 does not have a DNS role, or we do not want it to be working as a DNS role, even if it is. Because server 3 related metadata information is all across the forest right now. So RODC will have a big problem with that. RODC is also a domain controller, right? So it's gonna say, hey, I'm not working on this machine. Yeah, you were saying? Okay, I have restarted. We have renamed server 3 to server 4. We have changed the IP to 192.168.0.3 from to 0.4, right? Now we are supposed to have a new machine. Supposed to. So I'm going to now join it to the domain, and now we have a member server. Whew. Okay. So yeah, in networks when we are doing live, we can run into big troubles. Local server, I'm just joining it to domain now. So it's now server 4 and IP is 0.4. Everyone is following? Okay. Yeah, I already restarted. And if I go, I need to check my preferred DNS properties. V4, it's already good. Yeah, it's 1, which is supposed to be.
should be, but IP address number 4, we use it for the server core?
No, server core got. Hey, did we use server core IP address? Okay, if I go, how do we check that? Through, if you go to server first domain controller RODC, and if you go to DNS of that, and already I have DNS open here. Server core has 04. You're right. So it's gonna be an IP conflict. So I'm just gonna quickly change it to 05. Properties v4. So server 3's IP is now 05 because server core is 04. Oh, 5. When I change the IP address of 5, I need to run ipconfig flush DNS and register DNS just to have the DNS information locally correct. Yeah, so server core, we already gave in last class. So I just changed to 5.
Fine. How did
And
you see it?
we don't need to restart ipconfig flush DNS register DNS. Do that.
How did you see it in server 1? I mean the DNS.
Oh, so I went to server 1 and DNS console is already open. And then there is server 1 is 4. Yes, ipconfig release renew, but it's a server. So servers, we should always give static IP. If it was client, yeah, then we release renew. Okay, server 3. Now, everyone has followed till now? Everyone is flush DNS, register DNS?
Yeah, why we will do this now?
Just to have the local name and IP configuration. So maybe the name and IP in the cache of this server, DNS cache. DNS also have some local information on each client machine and server. In DNS cache, it might have the wrong information, which is server 3 is 192.168.0.4. I just changed it to 0.5. I want to change the local cached information of DNS as well. Although, if you join it to the domain, it's going to take the correct information. Just to be on the safe side and to avoid any more surprises, I would want to run flush DNS and register DNS just to make sure DNS is having my newer correct information, right? So on server 3, I changed the IP again while the name is still the server 4. So I'm going to just go to command prompt ipconfig /flush DNS and ipconfig /register DNS. If you have separate set of labs, try to demote the tree domain in that separate set as well, but try to go to the TechNet forums to know what that error is. Avoiding the error now will save you time, but you won't get that knowledge which is critical in production environment, that you should have known that if this error comes, what are you supposed to do? Flush DNS and register DNS. Oh, okay. So do you need the magnifying glass here, or okay, that's more confusing actually. Well, it's clear, but clear confusing. Okay, so everyone did that, flush DNS, register DNS.
Yeah.
We are ready to join this computer to the domain. The name, yeah, it should be, yeah, it's server 4 here. No, F5 it. And did you restart after changing the name? It's still showing server 3. Hey, you're kidding, man. Senior, seriously? Or okay, so I'm just gonna change the VM name as well. Okay, refresher. So I'm just going to change the VM name, virtual machine name as well. The label of that was 0304. Right click and rename. Okay, so we'll just quickly join to the domain now, and I've just clicked workgroup and click change. Let me know if I'm faster. Oh, fast. And my domain dot local.
One moment. It still shows full computer name as server.com.
If we go there, server 4.
Full computer name.
Yeah, it should.
Cancel please.
I'm about to join the domain.
Under the computer.
Yeah, this, but the main name is this here, computer name. Full computer name could be cached here, and could be, once you join the domain, it should go away. So server 4 and domain, yes, it's a good point. It's still showing here cards.bmw. It's locally cached that way. Let's just join it to the domain, and it should not show that. Let's test that. Otherwise, we should not have gone through this path. Otherwise, we'll discover that. Okay, my domain dot local. Press OK. Does it give any error, or it lets you join the domain? Huh? Oh, okay. Okay, so it does not show you the cards.bmw after we, yeah, exactly. So we need to just join the domain, and that's it. Administrator Yeah, I was just testing. Okay, yeah, I forgot that. So admin 1, press OK, join. Now we're ready for RODC. Yeah. Okay. It might take in production environment 2 days if they don't let you do the force removal, or 2 weeks even. So if this comes, I would have just said, okay, go for cloning. But now we get to know how to force remove something, right? And even then, we are stuck. Force removal means the trouble has already started for you. Now you have to really, now how good you are in troubleshooting. I tried to remove server 3, right? Could not after the force removal. So I still have to find out from TechNet how to remove manually the metadata. I may have some commands. So we're gonna, this is our assignment. We need to have that command which successfully removes the metadata after the force removal. So let's keep that in mind, that we have a forest where the metadata of a failed server domain controller uninstall is still there. We need to remove still that. Consider it as your production environment now. So I'll just update it on the notepad. So it's install RODC. Note, we tried to uninstall tree domain but could not because of an error that DNS, because of a DNS related error of our DNS related error. So we did force removal, and now we need to find out how to remove metadata from the forest for the server 03. So guys, just copy that to your local Microsoft Word, and in production environment they won't let you breathe if you don't come up with something quick, because they want their environment to be clean. If there is already something there that's not getting removed, this means your environment has a fault. So they will start blaming you right away. Hey, you don't have something configured properly. How to remove metadata of force remove Active Directory. Thank you. So there's already, did you send it to the group? Oh yeah, send it to the group as well. Thank you for researching that. Did you send the PowerShell command for that, Albers? Okay, the way to remove. So that's good. Thank you. And can you send it to the group as well, cohort 6? So okay, is it joined to the domain, everyone? Welcome to the mydomain.local. Okay, close, restart now. When we do it, we learn a lot. So troubleshooting are the main skills that we need to improve. Just installing next finish is, you could follow any YouTube video to do that. But once you're in big trouble, so we need to solve that. We need to have the proper solution for that to remove the metadata. Because, and first question would be, why did that error come at all? So that would be the first question. Not the second one is that, okay, we are stuck. How do we remove every other thing? Why did that error come to the tree domain removal? Right? So that should be our first question. Okay, next. Okay, I should update that too. Why did we, oh, I need the screenshot of that error. Oh man, anyone has that error still? By now no one would have that, right? That error, then when we were creating removing the tree domain, we were stuck at DNS removal. It was not removing that. Anyone take a snapshot? Screenshot? Okay, cool. Can you send it to the group? Thank you. Why did we get that DNS error when we tried to remove tree domain? So what steps were required what should we have checked instead of going just okay, let's just uninstall it. Okay, so I've uploaded, so whatever I put on notepad.cc, please copy it to your local Word document, because maybe, you know, something gets removed, some half information is still there. Okay, so server 4, we have logged in, other user. If we go to administrator, no, admin 1, I love administrator, somehow always come up with admin 1. Okay, so everyone logged in from admin 1. Yes. Okay, so okay, good. Let's install RODC and talk about the options there. Somebody sitting there, or it's your bag? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, so everyone there logged in? Yes. Okay, thank you. So let's promote this. First of all, I'm just gonna go to server 1. Do you see, so on server 1, if you go to Active Directory user in computers like this, do you see in computers server 4 like this? So in first domain controller, Active Directory user in computers, in the computers container, you must see server 4 showing for everyone. Is it showing for everyone? Okay, showing for everyone, right? Okay, let's go back to server 4 and click that yellow triangle and go for promote this server to a domain controller again. Everyone there? Okay, promote this domain controller. When we go here, what do we do now? Which option you would want to go for? Add new forest? Third option? Second option? Or first option? Okay, Sumit is saying second option. Anyone for first option or third option? No, you cannot change now. And you're having Timbits just for yourself. So, so one box for Sumit, one for everyone. What kind of distribution is that? Okay, so first option. For RODC, it's kind of a replica DC, kind of, right? Because of one-way replication. Okay, next. Okay, one day it will, okay, it's there. So what do we do here? That's the only one, and yes. Okay, so as soon as it starts moving this blue line here, and I can move the mouse with it like this, and we can play along with that blue line like this. Okay, see, that was a nice time pass, right? So we didn't even know that we had to wait so much. So RODC here, click that and select the Toronto domain. First thing, RODC. Second thing, where are the samosas? You came so late that you're not supposed to bring punishment samosas. Oh, punishment just for you, but we'll enjoy that. Don't worry. No, just kidding. Okay, so everything okay, right? Okay. So okay, so. So yeah, you missed a lot of troubleshooting, but you didn't miss today's topic till now. Sorry? It's going to still be the same mydomain.local because we did not configure sites and services yet. It's not gonna do anything. Yeah, no difference for now. There's no difference because we did not select sites and services. Okay, so Toronto still, and next. Now this is where we start talking about RODC. So if I go to the slide finally, okay, so RODC. It's used for low security locations with few users, we know that. It only caches user account information for a only small amount of users for a particular location. Does it cache user information automatically, or does it cache information? Do we have to do that manually? So we will be manually adding that information, but it will be asking the screen where we are now. It is actually asking, hey, do you have anyone that you want to give access, or do you have any user account whose username password you want to cache locally, right? It's on that screen. We're going to talk about that screen. And RODC allows users that the administrator allows to log in to a particular location. So if we as administrator want to allow an RODC, and finally I'm going to sit. So then it's going to, so we will be manually adding users. That's what it says, right? RODC downloads only the user account information that it needs. It does not upload anything to the writable domain controller. What does that mean? So if I go to the paintbrush, yeah. So if I go down to this and create a triangle, which means one branch, and if I create another triangle, are you updating your construction diagram? Are you constructing your diagram with it? So you could have that, so okay, so the domain controller, so I'm just going to create a DC here and another DC and some other servers on our parent domain. So this is our my domain.local, and then we have that connection. If I can make that connection here, so first of all, how it works, the replication goes, so let me create the domain controllers as well. So this is the RODC that I plan to have. This is the file server we plan to have. So first of all, replication will go from this way to that way, right? So can I circle that error? Hey, this MS Paint is not good. I cannot even circle that. I want to put it this way. Anyway, so this goes, replication goes from read write to the writable. So from RWDC to RODC, right? What goes? Replication. Replication goes from read write DC to RODC. So how do we know which one is which? So if I put here RWDC, and if I put here now RODC, so those are read write domain controller, this is RODC, and replication goes from read write DC to RODC. Okay, so now the scenarios start with, oh, it's not going further down. Okay, so I'm going to create a client here, a client machine, and this is Windows 7. So, and then there are like 20 users here only. So there are 20 machines and 20 users in this branch. 20 users, 20 machines locally in this branch, locally. Now those guys, whenever they want to authenticate, what happens? So the user, so you haven't saved any account, the username password of these 20 users who are just local employees here in this area. You haven't created locally in RODC their accounts. What happens now is that their authentication request will, hey, do we have a pencil tool here where I can just type? Oh, there it is. So okay, so I have this their authentication. So auth packet will so they will try to log in here, and the RODC will simply forward their request to have this authentication be accepted from this read and write domain controller. So authentication will be asked by this, and it will forward this request. So it's forwards auth request. Because the username passwords for these local users are not saved inside the RODC right now, so of course it cannot authenticate. It can only RODC does not authenticate, but it authorizes. It can authorize, but it cannot authenticate. So Win7, now what happens, the scenario just goes like this, that if you have this WAN connection, so you have a bad WAN connection and it goes down, now what happens? Guess. The users will not be able to log in. So there has to be a solution. Okay, the WAN connection is down and it keeps going down. What do? You must have a way to log in. Yep. RODC cannot do local authentication unless we add the username and passwords manually of any of the users who want to be authenticated locally. Then only it can do that. Otherwise, by default, it does not do that.
What it does, it
Forwards the request to the regionally or locally or nearby read and write domain controllers.
when this server is down, usually the users can log on to the local computer. The cache.
By locally cached profile, but if they want to use the local network services, local, they cannot do that. Yeah. Read only there is a secondary DNS which is also read only. No, still you still want to use the local network resources here. So these users must be locally authenticated, but only these users. If the WAN connection comes and goes, these users cannot just stop every time the WAN connection is gone. So you must at least add these poor users, not poor, but these users there. So at least they could keep on using the local printer, local file server, local WSUS server if the WSUS wants to deploy without caring about going outside the WAN connection. Yeah. To share the local resources at least. Yeah.
Maybe another RWDC as a verification server that replicate with the
So this could be another very good point, that if you have few branches, not one or two branches, normally what happens is nowadays bigger branches, they put RW read and write domain controller because it has better security. Maybe there are lots of small branches around the big branch. So small branches go for RODC. So if you have another nearby bigger branch, or if you have in any branch an RW, yes, if the first one doesn't go, maybe you have a WAN connection, which is a good point, that this is a possibility. Okay, this WAN connection is not working. Let me connect to this. This also has a RW. In huge companies, they have so many branches. You can have 3 or 4 types of 3 or 4 connections, and 3 or 4 branches may have the RWDC. Suppose, again, I mean, there's a purpose for that, right? So if I go for, hey, that's fun, cool, I'll have to do that. So let me keep on doing that for the rest of the, okay, anyway. So if you don't have that, suppose your company has just one parent RW domain controller, and it only has that parent branch HQ. All 5 other branches have RODC. Now Solution. What's the solution? Those 20 users cannot be, cannot remain. They have to use the local network resources. So the only solution is to cache their credentials. So I would just type here cache credentials of local users. That's where that screen where we all are now, that screen is asking just that. Hey, do you have any users whose credentials need to be cached? So first of all, you will cache the credentials of those users who are not member of all the critical resources across your forest. Maybe your CEO is from this branch. If your CEO is a branch, then you would secure that branch. You would invest on that branch. CEO is sitting in that branch. CEO sits in the HQ, which is already very secure, and you have RW, domain controller, read and write. So here, if these users do not have access to, maybe they have access to just local file server, local print server, okay, go ahead, cache them. Because whenever that RODC is compromised, maybe stolen physically or hacked, those credentials will be available to be hacked as well. The hacker will be able to crack those passwords because they are locally saved now. But those users should be nobody in the network. When I say nobody, it means what? They should not have permissions to critical resources. That's it. So yeah. Company is sitting here, visits here, and the scenario is that the WAN connection goes down. If the WAN connection goes down, then either you temporarily cache the credentials of CEO or give that CEO another username which has no permissions to any other critical groups and tell, hey, sir, this is your alternate credentials that I am saving here, which you can use just in this branch to locally access all the things, right? Because WAN is down, also the CEO cannot access anything if the WAN is down. So give an alternate user which has no rights on critical resources and do not use the original username of the CEO. Yeah. So that's a good point. Okay, so we add the users, but main thing is not only that you have to add the user's credentials here, one more thing. Add the computers as well to the local credentials. If you don't do that, what happens? So there are 20 computers, there are 20 users. What do? You just use the user's credentials. You do not add the computers to the local, cache there in the local cache. If you don't save that, the users will try to log in. They cannot log in. Computers have to be authenticated too. They have joined to the domain. So computer credentials as well as users credentials have to be added to the local RODC, to the cache of the RODC. And one last thing, you have added 20 users. There has to be one user that can maintain the RODC as well. RODC as a machine, not RODC as a domain controller. When I say that, what do you mean by that? So this RODC local here, one of the users, you as a system administrator interview some of the users, right? Then you see that, oh, one of the users has good technical knowledge. So you tell him, hey, I'm just going to make you the local administrator of RODC. Local administrator. You know what's a local administrator? What's a local administrator?
Which has all the privileges on the local machine.
Having all the privileges on the local machine. But if you have any network application, the user may not have privileges to access that if you remove those. But you will add one user as a administrator of RODC, and that user will be able to maybe change some of the things inside the RODC, but that user will not be able to make changes in the Active Directory. So if I type here now, make one user as a local admin of RODC, but that user will not be able to change anything in AD. So no rights Active Directory wide, but all the rights locally to maybe free up some space on the RODC, maybe change some network settings according to the system administrator's instructions, maybe do any of the local maintenance. The user will be able to log in from domain controller. So the main thing is, whenever you create a new user, what happens? That new user becomes a part of a group. Anyone knows what is that name of that group? Whenever you create a new user who's not an administrator, just a normal user, that user becomes a part of a group called domain users. So whoever is part of a domain user, if I show you here now, I'm creating a new user. I did create that before, and I did show that, yeah. User 11, and again, you also log on name user 11, next, and password. And finish. So that user automatically becomes a part of one group called domain users here. That whoever is part of domain user and only domain user has no rights. So the user logs into any client machine. The user has no rights to install software, no rights to change network settings. So maintenance of that particular machine from which the user is logging in from, the user has no rights to do any kind of changes on any of the machines in the domain. So that's, I'm talking about client machines. So if that user logs in from a member server, still no rights, right? So that user, our test, how do we test that that user is our domain, is our admin of the RODC, but still has no rights anywhere else? So we have to put that to test. We're gonna add one user. So I've created user 11 here. Guys, do you have Exchange users here? Everyone has 390 users, right? Okay. So we're going to add Alan Reed, Alan.reid as that user. So for now, although the password is capital P and password 1, you can reset it to whatever password. So you can reset it to the password you are used to or you remember. I'm gonna put another password to Alan Reed, which I remember, but you can use the class password and uncheck this user must change password. So I'm in the Exchange users folder, which has 390 users, right? Everyone has that. Okay. So if you don't have it, just create another user 11, user 12, user 13, right? If you don't have it, but everyone should have it, right? So Alan.reid, ALAN.REID. I'm gonna make this guy as the admin. Suppose he's also working there as a branch manager, but he has some more technical knowledge. If you don't have that user, just create another random user, right? User 11, user 12, user 13. RODC. Even in many branches, they don't even have ID people. Some of the branches don't even have. So RODC is the perfect thing to put there. And even if someone has a little IT knowledge, you as a system admin can just instruct him to do few things, while knowing that even if that user logs into the RODC, he cannot do any damage to the whole infrastructure. It's just read only. So we're gonna put that to test, right? So I'm going back to the screen right now. Oh, I did not put the power settings to remove. I should not lock me. Everyone remembers how to keep it unlocked forever? So I'll just go to power options. So control panel, and can we go to system settings and then power options here, and then go to change plan settings, and then from 10 minutes oh okay, read default settings for this. Oh, change settings here, and then 10 minutes to never ever ever ever. I love never. Oh, okay, so I don't want that to be locking me again. Everyone knows that, right? Okay. Oh, did I keep it? Okay, everyone on this screen. So first thing, it's asking delegated administrator account. First thing on the top, everyone sees not provided. Okay, so this means who's going to be the local admin of the RODC? Alan Reed. So how do we select that? Click select here, guys. Yeah,
For the user, you just set the password and that's it for the Alan.
yeah, I just set the password, which I know because it is already capital P password 1.
So you are on.
It's a normal password 1. ASSWORD is normal letters.
You are on server 1.
I am on server 3, which we renamed to 4. Yeah, or you're on your members machine, right? Member server, which you.
I installed Active. I'm not getting out in that promote.
You are seeing this ADDS.
No, it's still installing.
Oh, it's permanently doing that.
Yeah,
You could add another network card and connect it to internet. This is one of the workarounds. It needs a file, some kind of file. Okay, everyone, did you add Alan Reed? Yes. Okay. One thing, please make sure you did not log in from local administrator for this server. If you logged in from local administrator, you might have, it will ask 2 times the credentials. Make sure you logged in from my domain / administrator. Otherwise you will have a problem. If you're not sure, maybe not, log off, log in again. Anyway, select, and I will put ALAN Alan to search. If I click check name, and Alan Reed is there. Alan Reed, Alana Shah. So Alan Reed, press OK. Press OK again. Does it show Alan Reed? My domain / Alan.read. Okay. Second thing is, if first thing is correct, the second thing is this: allowed RODC password replication group and accounts that are denied from replicating passwords to the RODC. So administrators are denied, server operators are denied, backup operators are denied, account operators are denied, and then there is another group called denied RODC password replication group, which is opposite to allowed RODC password replication group. These are the 2 groups already created in Active Directory. Is there a proof? Okay, let's go to server 1. I'm going back to server 1. Already Active Directory on computer is open there, and I want to see where is that allowed Active Directory and deny Active Directory group, right? If I go to users folder, on the top, this is inside Active Directory on computers, allowed RODC password replication group, and D should have that deny. Yeah, this one, deny RODC password replication group. These 2 groups are for what? Whoever you want to allow. If you add, and so double click the allow first, double click that. Oops, I have that. Okay.
These are all users, right? Which install the
Yeah.
or trying to understand after all RODC install the automatically add user, or
It's not going to be automatic. Those 20 users their usernames are created in Active Directory. Suppose there are 20 users. Their names are created in Active Directory randomly. You have to choose. You have to have a list from that branch. Who are those people? Then you must have the username, password, and then you add manually.
So
Yeah.
after adding LLV, what next?
Then I came back to I did nothing there. Just keep the screen there, and go to server 1, and then in users folder, open the Active Directory user and computers. Everyone there?
Yes.
Okay. So if you go to members, is there any member there? Okay. Allowed RODC. So if you add anyone here, what will happen? That user's credentials will be saved locally on RODC. This means that user can be authenticated locally if that RODC has no connection with the read and write domain controller. If the WAN connection is not available, whoever is added to this group will get authenticated.
So
That means that particular user
Oh.
can go to any.
I didn't. Oh, you want a break? What?
yes, please.
Yes, please. Huh? I'm sad now. Okay, yeah.
So if that particular RODC user which we have added to group, we can go to any RODC and we will be having the same solution, right? Admin permission for
So that's a very good question. Normally there are child domains, and yes, it will be saved to other RODC as well, because this is just one group.
because if you are very like locations like this and
Yeah.
those two locations are close enough.
Yeah.
That local admin can go to.
It will have the credentials saved in this group. This means other RODCs which are connected to this will be, so this is a very good question, and then another question arises from that.
Yeah. This option from where you will get in exchange user property.
Exchange? I don't have exchange server.
Exchange user.
Allowed RODC in the users folder. Oh no, not in exchange. Yeah, the users container. Last one. You got it. Last one. And allowed RODC. So suppose you have 10 branches where each branch has RODC. So if we add one user here, user 11, will that user's credential be saved on the 10 RODCs or just that one RODC? How do we say that, hey, this user save its credentials only in New York branch, and do not save its credentials to the other branch in London or Sao Paulo or anywhere else?
So then we need to create groups, and while we are installing on each RODC, we have to add that particular one.
So
You have to add the user in both servers.
which both servers?
The server 1 and the RODC.
So yes, we can have separately, either one by one we can add, or have separate groups that we can add. So it makes sense that you have separate security groups for which are dedicated for different branches that we can add, and then it should be, those credentials should be always available only for that RODC. We haven't gone through the slide yet, but there was that desperate request of, I need a break, please. Everyone needs a break?
Yes.
No.
You really hurt my feelings. Okay, yeah,
No.
that's correct.
No.
Oh, so Sumit, you have to convince Sumit now. He says no. Convince him first. Either convince him or come out, Sumit. How about some talk?
Sumit, he has to share this.
Oh, see? Sumit has to say yes. Okay, anyway. Break, guys. 10-minute break, and then we come back.
He can stay here.
Me and Sumit will only study now. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we've said action, and we are resuming the video, and so you don't have a you don't have to have a GC on a RODC to cut down replication traffic between branches. RODC is placed normally where the branches have crappy WAN connection. So that's why we would try to make the traffic as less as possible and make the branch things work as well. So we can even use server core to configure RODC. So this is if you have some machine that is not high end, that does not require a lot of memory, or does not have a lot of memory and processing. You can install server core, and on server core you can install RODC, right? So you can have an older machine also, as long as it's 64-bit. Older with less memory machines could also be used for that.
GC is replicated as well? To the
GC always replicate. Yeah,
the
across the forest. Across the forest it replicates. With even if you have an RODC domain, GC always replicate with other GCs. Passwords will be omitted while the rest of all AD objects will be present. This is the default configuration of. So when I was saying it can not authenticate, but it can authorize. So passwords are never there, but RODC always knows that which user is part of which group. So it has that information locally available for the users that are logging in there. The replication occurs from read and write DC to RODC and not vice versa, right? Is it true or false? Replication occurs from read and write DC to RODC, and it also occurs from RODC towards read and write as well. Okay, you got me. So replication, guys, so this arrow, so read and write will update RODC, but RODC will not and cannot update and read and write doing error. Yes, right? So it's just always from our read and write to RODC replication goes. Okay, we were talking about this guy, this group, and we know where that group is, right?
Sorry, what is the solution for having different branches and we want to, for each branch, we didn't want
Yeah.
to one user to match all of the branches to have the delegation.
And let me show you. Yeah, I was actually going for that in the slide. That's why I went back to the slide to show one more thing. When a user logs on to a RODC, the request, okay, we know that it goes forward, but RODC is still useful for determining group memberships, OU policies, and all other AD tasks. So authorization is still, RODC can do that. Group policies or anything you implement that. Credential caching, yeah, that's what we are doing now. RODC verifies credentials, yeah. Passwords for selected users can be admins, not usually cached. If RODC gets stolen, only cached accounts are vulnerable. Yeah, we know that. Whoever username's password is there can be cracked from RODC. What I wanted to show was that RODC, there could be only one RODC per site. Let me show you that. Only one RODC per domain per site is possible. So, what does that mean? What does anyone can tell me? Only one RODC per domain per site is possible.
Have in the child, too many child.
You must have a child domain then to have another RODC. You can have
Child, one RODC.
per child domain.
But because it is per site, if we have lot of branches, it doesn't matter. Because if we configure them in different sites.
So it has to be per site per domain. If we have in one site lots of domains, one RODC will work. So RODC, you have to have the second RODC. So in this domain we are adding users. This domain can have one RODC only. You want another RODC, go ahead and install a child domain there, right? In child domain, when you go to Active Directory sites and Active Directory, users and computers, and go to this area, I'm on this membership group. So in my domain.local here, if I go users, this is the area where I can use add any users, but I can have only one RODC per domain. So if I have another RODC, it cannot be for this domain. So this is a rule that so when you're adding users through this allowed RODC password application group, it's adding to just that one RODC. You need another RODC. What do? Either have another site or have another child domain or tree domain, right? If it's the same domain, have another site. And we haven't defined sites and services, right? So when we define sites and services, then we can have another domain group, but it's another child domain and another site. Yep.
Supposing that we have another RDC in this circle, which is child of this domain.
Yeah.
So what if we add a user here? Is it going to be added in the circle also, the RDC there?
So it is not possible.
It is not possible.
You can't have RODC at Mississauga.
Didn't you hear Sumit? I mean, yeah, that's I mean, like, what I was saying was that, yeah, this is not possible. It's like this. You have to say that with, okay, anyway. So, yeah, what I was saying is, when we created the child domain, do you remember what we checked first? First thing we checked after the child domain controller restarted, do we have the 390 users copied to the child domain which we had in the parent domain? Was it copied or not? Because they don't copy domain information to each other. Child domain has its own privacy, its own policies, its own user computers, parent domain. So if you add any child domain users in their group, they will not be replicated here. They have their own RODC. So this one group per domain you can add, and that one RODC will be populated only. So that's why I came back to the slide. No. So if you have another RODC, you must have another domain to install that. So that could be a task for us. We install one, so add another machine, a member server, and then try to install another RODC here. Does it give you an error or not, or does it let you install another RODC? This is RODC 1, suppose, server 4, have a server 5, this server 5, have a server 6, and install second RODC there. Are you able to do that or not? So those of you who are really enthusiastic and want to know everything, they will go for server 6 and they will try to install another RODC other than this. What you need to install in RODC? Just select the RODC option and next, finish, restart. How much time it gets. But you will know a very crucial information. Can you install another RODC in the same domain where there is one RODC already existing? So that's a very good assignment that we can have. Let's see who really finds that out. If you're really curious, you will do that. Okay, let's go ahead with the first RODC here, and allowed RODC password application. So we already have Alan Reed as the administrator of our mydomain.local. Oh, I gave it away already. Huh? Sorry. Alan Reed is the administrator of domain mydomain.local, right? RODC, exactly. You know already that I've tried to trap. It's no more fun. Okay, so now let's add one user who's just a normal user, and we're going to check with one Windows 7 machine to log in from that user. So I have created user 11, but let's just add Alana Shaw. So add any normal user. So if you click add here, is everyone on the allowed RODC password application group? If you go to the member of and or members actually, and then go for Alana, ALANNAH. I think that's the spelling. Check name. Yeah, that's the spelling. ALANNAH. I'm just using Alan Reed as the RODC admin, Alana Shah as the normal user whose credentials will be saved locally. Actually, both of them, their credentials will be saved locally, right? Alana. So no, just check name. So type Alana. Second user, it's ALANNAH, ALANNAH, Alana. So then check name, and it will complete the whole name. Click check name. after that. So Alana Shah is there. Press OK. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we should reset the password because we're gonna check it with Windows 7 machine. Although the password for all 390 users is what? Anyone knows that?
Password 1.
Exactly, it's capital P. Okay, I'll just put that here because we have 390 users and we will be using a lot of those. So their password is this for all the 390 users. Guys, note it down. All 390 users, the password is password 1. Does it control B? Oh, okay, it does. So this is the password for all 390 users. You could just select all and right click and reset the password of everyone, or keep it like that. You would just know this is the password for all the 390 users. Password 1, which is without any complications or special characters. So password 1 is everyone noted down? Yes. Okay. Yes, no, maybe. Okay, so one user added as a normal user of that branch and one user added as a local admin. Let's click apply. Okay, so this user is member of allowed RODC password replication group. Press OK on the server 1. Now I'm going back to server 4 where we were in the middle of the RODC installation. This group is showing already and we have made that user part of this group, right? Okay, one more question. This is always an assignment when we do RODC. Okay, let's complete that, then I'll tell you the assignment. RODC, so that user is part of the group, but that user has to log in from some computer to be authenticated from RODC, right? Do we have a client machine? Did we create a client machine till now? Yeah, so that client machine, you have to, if it's already joined to the mydomain.local, we are okay. If all you need to do is, so let me check, I have that client machine in the computers portion. Okay, I don't have that client machine. I think it was part of the tree domain, which is now history. What we need to do is you have to add the client machine. I'm gonna put that whole assignment to you in step by step, and you have to send the screenshot. Anyway, let's first make the RODC work and check if Alan Reed can make changes in the Active Directory or not, if Alan Reed can log in from the RODC or not, if Alana Shah can log in from the Active Directory or not. Alana Shah is not an admin of RODC. Alan Reed is RODC admin, right? So okay, let's check all that. We have done what we were supposed to do, one user and one admin. Let's go next. So it's asking which domain controller you want to get information from. If you drop down, there is server core and there is server 1. In my case, server core is not up, so let's put the correct domain controller from which it's going to get all the Active Directory information, which is server 1. Do not keep it to any domain controller. Do not. Select server 1. That's the correct domain controller. Server core, in my case, is shut down. If I put that, it's gonna be in loops. It's gonna stay forever updating information from a domain controller which is not alive, or it's gonna give us an error and we have to restart. Okay, next. So one is, yeah, what's the question? Oh, okay. I knew there was no question. You were like, oh, okay. So that was fun.
Excuse me, the previous screen, what we showed?
Yeah, it's
Nothing here.
nothing here. We added the user in Active Directory, right? That's it. You make sure that Alan Reed is showing there. That's all. Alan Reed is showing everywhere for everyone like this. Exception, yeah. Which, okay. So, can you take a screenshot of that? But which step it came when you were doing This. Okay, guys, can you all confirm this if you're getting an error? If you select this server 1, you selected server 1? Majid? You selected server 1?
Yeah.
Okay, you sure, right? So next, do you get an error at this?
Next step.
Okay. So you do not see this, Majid? Majid? Oh, okay. You don't see the screen, right? This one. You do not see the screen, or after that?
After previous.
Oh, previous. It cannot replicate. Oh, check the firewall for both. Check if you can ping. Check if you can NS lookup. It's not communicating with the main domain controller, the primary. So check firewall, check ping, and check if you maybe the network settings. Maybe it's a host only and VMnet 12. Check all that, right? Connectivity issue. Okay, next, and finito. Install. We need to do several checks. What are those? When we restart this, we need to check if Alan Reed can log in and Alan Reed can create a username inside RODC. So try your best to create a username. If you can, then we will sue Microsoft. That it said, hey, that user cannot create Active Directory username. Well, how come I can create? Okay. So install, restart, login from alan.read, and then try to make any changes in the Active Directory. It should not, and then we can check some other settings. So restarting, not yet. Restarting. Okay, close. What do you mean close? Configuring DNS service on this computer. Progress. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so run prerequisite check. Verification requires remember the security groups that you specified the password application policy for the user domain controller are not valid. The RPC server. Normal prerequisites failed. Rerun prerequisites. Connectivity issue है इसमें दोनों में prerequisites वो ही कह रहा है RPC पिंग करके देखें दोनों और firewall दोनों की check करना. If you have connectivity issues, guys, try to ping each other, both machines from both sides actually, and try to double check your firewalls again. And pinging would tell you mainly, and then do a NS lookup as well.
Okay, now by the user that
Alan, yeah.
We'll look at server 04.
Exactly.
What about the client? So we'll look by the other.
Elena Shah.
Okay, you will do the my domain /
Exactly. My domain / Elena, and you just have to add. So I'll put the steps what to do for the assignment.
We have the client.
So you can add the client. You can go to the allowed group. Did you go to the server 1 allowed group? You remember?
Yes.
When you go there again, first we added the Alana Shah user, right?
I added it.
So then you click add again. This time just name of the Windows 7 machine or Windows 8 machine. What is the name of the Windows machine? Client 01 or what?
Yeah, Windows 8.
Windows 8. Okay. Select that and add that in the allowed users group. I'm gonna put the steps there.
Was it in the users allowed?
Yeah, it's in the users folder. So our task is
You add a member or member of?
no. So it's member.
Member. You add
Add and computer.
user, yes?
Yeah, but you have to. Okay, you got 911. Okay, everyone has restarted domain RODC. Okay, do not log in from admin 1. Which user are we supposed to log in from? So I will go to this. I will click the arrow. Then I will go. Oh. Thank God, I resumed. I was just thinking I did not resume. And back. Okay. other user, and then what do I type here? Alan dot reid, and the password I reset for this one, but the rest of the passwords are still capital P. You know what I write there, if you remember. Password 1 is the password with all, only the letter P is capital, all the rest are small letters and no special characters. So I logged in from Alan Reid already. Everyone logged in from Alan Reid? Now let's create another object in Active Directory, and let's try to create one object in Active Directory using computers. I'm opening the Active Directory computers in RODC, and it should open, and okay, there it is, mydomain.local, and then I'm gonna go and right click mydomain.local, go to new and go to organizational unit. It's going to ask what organizational unit you want to create, and I'll just say accounts and press OK. Windows cannot create the object account because access is denied. Yes, Alan Reid has no rights to change anything in Active Directory. Yeah, sure. Cancel out. I just went to Active Directory computers, right click, new, create any kind of project, try to create a group, try to create an organizational unit, try to create a user, anything. So I go for the smallest one, organizational unit, and management, or type anything and press OK. It should not let you create anything. It's a read only, right? You're not doing that. Okay.
I can have the option new, right?
Which is even better. You're not supposed to have an option new. Why is it coming to me? I just need to give it a little time, that's all. After 4 or 5 minutes, maybe if it's showing now, after 4 minutes, new option will be gone. Domain controllers, if they are perfectly configured, leave them alone. Let them talk, let them work themselves out. They are automatically configuring themselves, they are automatically trying to discover their surroundings, they are automatically trying to contact other domain controllers and updating their tables and topologies. So we always give them time. Hey, okay, yeah, present.
Could you please discuss the manage and the remove the rules?
Right click.
In the manage.
Oh, okay, here. Remove rules. Hey, we just installed it. Oh, okay, that's also a test. That's a good one. That we should test if Alan Reid can remove or not. That's a good. So if I try to remove roles, and I'm already sad now. So next, and if I uncheck Active Directory, and if I remove features, and that error pops up, and then I demote this server, and I do not use force removal, and I proceed with that. Hey, stop me, come on. Okay, next. Retain domain controller metadata. No, I don't want to retain.
You brought the admin, that's why you have the full access.
So inside Active Directory, Alan Reid cannot do anything, right? If Alan Reid, suppose, is able to remove Active Directory from here, did he do any damage to the Active Directory infrastructure? It's no longer going to be RODC because you made him a local administrator to add on remove anything you want, right? Local administrator. So let's just keep on going. If I put the password like that, I will lose my RODC right now. But oh, I did not press tab. Okay, next, and I don't want to press demote. Okay, what am I supposed to? Am I supposed to show something other than this before I press demote? Take a snapshot. I need to take a snapshot of this machine and as well as the first server. Huh? You tried it, right? Okay, cancel. So thank you for trying that. So I never told you to demote that.
Now this row is also.
Okay. So this row is affecting as well, and that row is recovered actually. He has created the whole forest again. It's okay. Hey Alan, don't do that. So no. So thank you for confirming it demotes. So we're just gonna. I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, all you have to do is just repeat the exercise. It's good for knowledge as well, right? Am I smiling here? No, I should not be. Thank you. I didn't want to. No, I wanted to show something else as well. So thank you for letting me know that, and you can reinstall it again, right? Because the video is in creation. Assignment. Every cohort, some people are stuck in this assignment. What is that? Crash your first domain controller. So you have that crappy WAN connection, disconnect that WAN connection. So we're going to simulate that. You're going to first join Windows 8 or Windows 7 to your mydomain.local, right? Maybe it's already joined, then it's okay. What do you do next? You have to add that Windows machine to the allowed group, right? So I'll just go there, users, allowed RODC password application group. You have to add the Windows machine as well. If you don't add that, the Alana Shah user will not be able to log in. Two things. So I'm gonna start typing the steps here and on that notepad.cc, but please copy it somewhere else because it gets removed for some reason. Yeah. Okay, where's the notepad.cc? I think this is one. Yeah. Already? No, it's still the. So guys, this is mucho importante. Mucho what? Importante. Steps. Add Windows client machine to the domain. Which domain? mydomain.local. Second step is add it to the allowed RODC and blah 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 blah. Third step is to log in. First test login. Actually you should not log in. You know, when you successfully log in any user from any client machine, what happens? It saves that profile locally. So when you take down the branch, when you take down the first server from where it was getting authenticated, then you will that account will still log in from locally cached profile. You don't want that to happen. You want to simulate. What do you want to confirm first? Let me show you. We're gonna simulate that. You have a Windows 7 machine. You need to add it to that allowed RODC group. You have newly created user. So create a new user. Create a new user. Add to allowed RODC as well. Do not log in. So if you follow exact steps, then only you will try to know that. Otherwise you will not be able to know that. You will be able to get the correct results. Add it to allowed RODC. Do not log in that user or from Windows client machine yet. Number 4 step is shut down. Even if you disconnect the network card, it's okay. Or you can shut down the whole server 1. or disconnect the network card or server 1, it doesn't matter. Shut down server 1 to simulate WAN connection down. So this means the only authenticating server read and write domain controller is gone now, right? So now your RODC is the only server that can authenticate that user. And if you, so after this is shut down, you make sure this user you never logged in from that Windows machine. So create, if Elena Shah you logged in just now or after some time, then create another user or use another user from the 390 users. But that user must not have ever been logged in before from the Windows machine. Now this is shut down. But you have, the main thing is you have added that user to the RODC, allowed RODC group, but you never logged in. Then you shut down the server 1 or disconnect the network connection. Now log in this user from Windows client machine and send screenshot of what happens. So will that user be able to log in if the read and write domain controller is not present and read only domain controller is present and that user is part of the allowed RODC group? Will that user will be authenticated from RODC or not in the absence of our read and write domain controller? So yes or no? So again, you have created a user here and you have added that user to the RODC allowed RODC group, and when the user is about to log in, what happens is that WAN connection is gone. We're gonna simulate that by shutting down our server 1. Now just go to that Windows 7 machine and try to log in with that user while the main domain controller is not there. So tell me the result. Are you able to log in or not? So you're saying shouldn't, but test it and try to tell what's the what's the deduction? I mean, should the user be logged in? If you add any user to this group, allowed RODC, that user's password gets cached in the that RODC. This means the RODC knows the username password of that user. Whichever user you add to this group, they become, their passwords are saved inside RODC automatically. So in case you don't have a connection of server 1 or read and write domain controller, that user should be able to log in, right? But try this. So this is an assignment. I need to know what are your results for that, and you can ask me again what to do. But these are the steps. Add Windows client machine to the domain mydomain.local. So you have to still add one client machine. If you already have it, then add this client machine to the allowed RODC group. Also, I did not add that. Also, okay, now it's not gonna auto number that, so 3344. Okay, create a new user. Guys, if you just follow this exactly, that would be better. User 12. New user. I want to make sure that you never logged in from that user successfully once. If you logged in successfully, when you take down the server 1, it will log in with locally cached profile. So that would not prove any test. So create a new user called user 12 and also add this user to allowed RODC group. Do not log in that user from Windows client machine, that is okay. Shut down server 1 to simulate WAN connection down. Now log in this user from Windows client machine and send a screenshot of what happens. So do we understand the slide? Do you understand the assignment? What slide? Please copy that these steps to your local Microsoft Word or email. So will that user be able to log in, or should that user be logging in or not? So if you have server 1 down and you already have added the Windows machine and that user to the allowed RODC group, which means the RODC now knows the credentials of that user, and RODC now knows that machine because you added them. Once the server 1 is down,
It says do not log in.
yeah, so do not log in until you have crashed the server. But before crashing the server, you have added the machine and user to the allowed RODC group, which means now RODC has the credentials of both of them.
No.
So,
When he logs in, it sends the request.
hmm?
When the user logs in, it sends the request
To who?
to the primary domain controller.
Okay. So,
So because it doesn't cache the passwords by default,
okay.
but so without a request, like login request, will it cache still?
Yeah.
Because how? Because we defined that cache.
So when you guys, one question, true or false? One question, true or false? If you add user and machine name to the allowed RODC group, does it save its information in the RODC or not?
You said yes.
No, I said yeah, but what do you say? Don't be, even if I trap you and everyone laughs at you, you still gain some information. Although it's fun for everyone, and everyone tries to avoid that. Oh man, he's gonna trap me now. Oh, good. So, so guys, try to understand this scenario. If I have this domain controller, and if I have this domain controller, and this is the read write, and this is the RODC. If you put the information, if you put this information, if you add user 15, I think, yeah, user 15 and Windows client machine name to the allowed RODC group, then what happens? What's the question? Can anyone answer this? What happens if you add user 15 and Windows client machine name to the allowed RODC group?
Going to cache on our
So if you do that, the RODC will cache the info added to the allowed RODC group. Okay. Still, if it caches that information, what happens? RODC will cache the info added to the allowed RODC group. This means RODC now knows that username and that password, that Windows machine and username. It knows both of them, right? In case that you have a connection down, so, oh, yay, that's nice. Oh, okay, so if you have connection down and this is the client that needs to log in to use network resources, so what will happen now? So this is that, okay, I should have named that machine, but anyway, when Win8 machine is there and that user 15 is there, they want to log in now. Can they log in?
we can log in.
There is no WAN connection, but their information RODC has cached already.
Already replicated.
It's already replicated. and then the WAN connection went down. Now RODC knows these two guys already. So this means if they want to log in, their user 15's password is actually cached here in RODC. Will user 15 be able to log in from the domain or not? It should be, yes. Because now RODC has the credentials. Because why it has the credentials? Because user 15 was added to the allowed RODC group. If you do not put it there, RODC will never know that user. You put it there. So the steps are, now I need everyone's screenshot. So screenshots of all the previous labs, if you haven't done, and future labs. You must send screenshots for every lab that you repeat. That's for your own good. Not, I mean, I don't gain anything from here, right? But I need to see screenshots of every lab we do.
And excuse me, what we are
Goes
doing-
without saying, right?
What we are doing right now, and this is now 411, the second paper.
It's part of the 411 as well. Yeah.
So we'll also cover this the third paper as well?
Yeah, 412 clustering. We're gonna do clustering. Yeah. So how to add a machine? Yep.
Right now we just have the users, like the allowed RODC. So how can we add the machine with the machine?
Same question. Yeah, Malik and
Couldn't hear it.
okay. So guys, how do you add a machine to allowed RODC group? How do you add a machine? So this is how. See this. Recording is still going on. Allowed RODC. Double click that. Go to members. Click add. Now it only adds users, service accounts, groups, and other objects. We don't see computers here. So we go to object types, and then we select computers here. Otherwise it will never detect any computers. If your Windows machine is client machine is joined to the domain, it will detect if you put the name there. In my case, if I just put the name of server 4, so machine is added here as well. Machine name. I should not be adding server 4. I mean it's the RODC itself. I will be adding the name of the new user. I will be adding the name of the machine, which is Windows 8 or Windows 7 client, right? Which must be joined to the domain mydomain.local. Add both username and machine name, and then shut down server 1, and then first time log into the user. Does it get authenticated or not? So send me the screenshots. Yeah.
Then why you ask to do the other user 12? Because if you try with Elena, I mean the user.
You can do the same thing with Elena Shah. Same thing.
Yeah.
As long as that user has not logged in ever.
Yeah.
Then do it for that. Yeah.
That would be
Same
enough
thing.
for that.
Yeah.
So if we shut down, disconnect the user in the Windows 8 log into the RODC.
It must log in because RODC knows their information. And we must add it before crashing the machine. We must add the information to the allowed RODC group. If we don't do that, okay, it won't log in. Yeah. We have to do that first. We have to add from there in the allowed RODC group the Windows client machine name and the username. Then we crash the server. Yeah, in server 1.
So this is the assignment for today, not the ROD installation.
RODC installation screenshots are required, and the assignment screenshots are separately, which is when you install RODC, the end part is assignment. So you're doing still one lab but screenshots of both.
Yeah, but we already did it with the, the RODC we already finished.
Yeah, you have to repeat that at home, right? RODC is not more than 5 minutes. We talked about it, that's why it took.
No, I'm just having to give the
Oh yeah,
assignment, but
okay. Okay, guys, everything. Tree domain also, although I never said that class is finished, but anyway, since you insist, class is finished now. So, oh, okay, yeah, it's like,
Actually, why creating RODC?
oh man, seriously. It's could be the connectivity issue. It's not detecting what.
Connected in the domain.
And this is the domain. You have to check firewalls for both, ping from both to each other, and check the network secure. What is the network card connection? Is it host only? Are they both the same?
Yes, same.
They are same.
Yeah.
Did you check the firewall for both? Did you check pinging from both?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna check that now.
Okay.
So it will be fun if I say, hey, see, you did not do that. Oh, okay. I need to stop the recording.